Okay, let's continue. We have then the objectives of economic growth. So let's go up here. Why do we need to have economic growth? This is a good question, right? Well, first of all, how is it measured? Do you know what is the unit we will use to measure economic growth? And you've heard it before. It's called gross domestic product. Sometimes GNI, gross national income, which is slightly different than GDP. Okay, we're trying to get more GDP or GDP growth every year. Why? Well, there's a couple of things we can think about. Simply, higher standard of living for citizens, right? If you look at the stages, we have an agrarian economy, which is then turned into a frontier economy, which is then turned into an emerging economy. Oops. And then a developed. Did you know that, guys? The 4 stages? I bet you didn't. So, agrarian, 2 frontier, 2 emerging, 2 developed. Developed is the last stage. Developed is our Western countries, right? Emerging, you're thinking about countries like China. So in developed, you will have 80% services. Right? It's all lawyers, doctors, and accountants. Emerging will be more a balance, 50-50 services manufacturing. Still lots of factories, right? Frontier will be more factories than services. So emerging places like China, India, Southeast Asian countries that are quite rich but are not as developed yet as Western countries. Frontier, think of Cambodia. Right, everything has to be done there. It's very new country. And then the last one, agrarian, is 100% farming. So these are the poorer countries in the world. For example, in Africa, you have 0 services, 0 manufacturing. It's basically 99% farms. So that's why you're trying to get GDP growth. You want to go up those steps, right? What else? We could talk about higher education and higher sanitation. Just overall higher standard of living, which is connected to my first point.